The measurements, by the way, of the facade, 38 meters wide, 35 meters high. The 4-seater statues, you can see them right in front of you, all of them representing Ramesses the Great. He's sitting on the throne of Egypt in a 4 royal features. From the royal feature, you can see the artificial beard attached by the chin. You can see the striped headdress above his head. You can see the double crown, white red crown of the north and the south over his head. You can see the big cartouche on his right shoulder. Yeah, and you can see as well, he's sitting on the throne, and around his legs small little figures. All of his royal members, his wife, his daughter and his mother, they are always tiny, small, like in my protection and my responsibility. I look after them. First time we excavated was 1713. Swiss scholar called Burckhardt, okay? But later on 1718, the main excavator, the one who cleared the sand out of it, called Battistota Giovanni Belzoni. He was a great excavator. He found a lot of tombs in Valley of the Kings and Valley of the Queens, and the main one who discovered this area, Abu Simbel, right? All the statues in front, Ramesses the Great, right? So the statues above, baboons 24 hours, okay? Ancient Egyptians, by the way, they use the baboons to represent their hours, by the way. Why? They chose this animal. I'm not being funny, but this is fact. Ancient Egyptian, they found the baboon. How do you say? They need to go to the toilet once every hour.
No.
Every hour.
Really?
Yes, this is fact. That at the ground you can see falcons, statues representing Horus, the falcon god. Then in the middle you can see on that shrine, that niche, the falcon-headed god with a solar disk. We call him Rahurakti, the falcon-headed god, the sun god of Heliopolis. And his offering before Rahurakti, one of the main gods worshipped here. You're gonna go inside, okay? You pass through the main gate, the main entrance to the first hall of columns inside, okay? There are 8 pillars, 4 on each side, supporting the ceiling. And all the pillars inside, guys, stuck by statues of Ramesses the Great. And all the statues, you will see them inside, forming Ramesses the Great standing like a mummy in a mummification form like this. So that means he's getting himself ready for the afterlife. And he's connecting to Osiris, the god of the afterlife, if he stands like that, okay? When you look at the ceiling inside, you're gonna see all the ceiling full of painting and representation of flying vulture and flying falcons, representing protection, you know? Vulture and falcons like protectors for Ramesses the Great. And you're gonna see stars as well, because the ceiling always referring to the sky, right? And then you're gonna go to the right and the left wall, guys. You're gonna see the representation of the victory of Ramesses the Great above the Hittites people. Hittites people, they used to live between Syria and Turkey, the area we call it now Anadolu, okay? And Ramesses the Great, by the way, on the 25th year of his reign, so he ascended the throne, he was 21 years old. After 5 years, Ramesses the Great, he led that war against the Hittites people, and he defeated the Hittites heavy defeat. And he was so proud to show his victory inside the temple. So when you move to the left wall, you're gonna see the representation, guys, of Ramesses the Great standing over the chariot, and the horses of the chariot jumped over that fortress. The fortress, we call it Kadesh, okay? So the battle, we call it the Battle of Kadesh as well, because that fortress used to be in this area at the time. And all the Egyptian troops, the Egyptian army following Ramesses the Great to attack the Hittite people. You're gonna see sort of exaggeration in the representation. For example, you're gonna see the legs of the horses of Ramesses the Great chariot jumped over that fortress. That sort of exaggeration. You're gonna see as well Ramesses the Great, he's grabbing one of the Hittite people from his hair and he's smiting him, and he's standing above the head of another one. I mean, how can you make balance for your body if you stand above the head of somebody else? You can't, okay? So all of these sort of exaggeration to show how heavy defeated them, okay? Then you're gonna move to the right wall, guys. The main representation on the right wall will be in your right hand side. Ramesses the Great sitting on the throne, and are of his ministers in a council of war, right? To prepare to make a sudden attack, preparing for the war. to make sudden attack against the Hittite people as well. On the same wall, you can count over 1,000 figures from the Hittite people, some of them injured and some of them killed by Ramesses the Great and the Egyptian troops, right? After that, you're gonna move to the second pollinated court. The main scenes on the side walls, the sacred boat of Amon-Ra, the sun god of Luxor or Thief, and the sacred boat of Ra-Horakhti, the falcon-headed god, the main god of Heliopolis. Heliopolis, north of Cairo, used to be the main cult center of Ra, the sun god. The two sacred boats carried on top of the shoulders of the priests. And Ramesses the Great, before the sacred boat, he's burning incense. You know the incense? Yeah? They used to burn incense because the incense, by the way, was a holy ritual at the time. They believed the incense is the soul of their goddess and goddesses. That's why they used to burn incense before their deities, right? And after that, you will move forward, guys, to the end part, the most important part of the temple, which is the sanctuary, the holy area, the holy of the holies, the gates of the heaven. On the rear wall, you're gonna see 4 seated statues. From the left to the right, Ra-Horakhti, the falcon-headed god, then Ramesses the Great himself as a god, and then Amon-Ra, the sun god of Luxor, as a god as well, with the 2 tall feathers above his head, and the last one, the 4th one, the god called Betah. And Betah, the god of Memphis, the old capital of Egypt, and the god of darkness, and the god of underworld as well, okay? And now we're gonna talk about the miracle of the sun, okay? What the miracles here, guys? As I told you, there were 3 miracles here. The natural miracle, by the way, you can imagine. Inside that great temple, the sun rises in a certain day, in a certain time, twice a year. 21st of October and 21st of February. And the sun rising through the gateway and lights the statues inside the Holy of the Holies. Started by Ra-Horakhti, then moved to Ramesses the Great, then Amon-Ra, and then stops. And it never touched the 4th one, Betah. Why? Because Betah worshipped as the god of darkness and the god of the underworld. The sun never touches this one, and then started to return back again. That's one of the ancient Egyptian miracles. It's a natural miracle, guys. We found out 21st of October, that was the birthday of Ramesses the Great, when he was born. And 21st of February, this is the coronation day, when he ascended on the throne of Egypt, when he became the Pharaoh of Egypt. Like the sun celebrating the birthday and the coronation day every year, since the time of Ramesses the Great till today. Okay, so what happened right now, guys? We celebrate these occasions 22nd, not 21st as before. What happened is, the 2 temples used to be under the water since we created that lake behind you, the Lake Nasser, and covered totally under the water. So we had the UNESCO organization with the Egyptian World Heritage Site. They started to make that project. They built a copper dam and they did the island to stop the water, and they pumped the water out by massive pumps, and then they started to cut and dismantling all of these constructions into thousands of blocks, and the weight of each one roughly 2.5 up to 15 tons weight. And they numbered each one. Then they started to remove it on another higher location, 66.5 meters higher than the original location used to be under the water, and 210 meters farther back than the rising water. Okay, so that project, by the way, achieved in 4 years, from 1964, finished 1968. At the beginning of 1969, we opened the area, the temples, for the visitors, and we watched that miracle of the sun. We found it changed it one day, became 22nd, not 21st as before. So what happened is, because the location changed, so the angle changed, so the date, the time changed one day now. Okay, and during that day, guys, we got a lot of Egyptians, a lot of Nubians, a lot of tourists from all over the world. They come to celebrate the birthday and the coronation of Ramesses the Great. Egyptian antiquity, they bought big screen on this side, and on the other side as well for the people. They couldn't queue up and watch it inside the Holy of the Holies. And you have to come the night before that day to watch it, since the sun started to rise here. Okay, so this is the natural miracle, and the modern miracle. How did they move it from here, guys? This is the modern miracle with a massive project achieved by the UNESCO and Egyptian antiquity, and we had over 50 different missions. They came to help here as well. Okay, the ancient Egyptian miracle. How did they carve these temples inside the mountain, guys? They've been cut out of the mountain 60 meters inside the mountain. This is a sandstone mountain, by the way. And how did they color everything inside? When you go inside, by the way, the color is mind-blowing. Really, you will think somebody came last night or last week and painted everything inside that great temple. Such a miracle, as I told you, ancient Egyptian miracle, modern miracle, and natural miracle when the sun rising here. Okay, so this is the story of that temple.
So these statues